So, part 2. I got a new glove. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. And there's stuff in it. Particles. Lots of particles. This is a particle accelerator. But it's okay. Watermelon with floor particles. That's what it is. But whatever. I hope this doesn't break apart. Surgical glove. That was a lot of work to get all of these balls individually picked up from the floor and from this container here and from the chair and put into the new glove. It was a lot of trouble. So that is the tools. It's a lot of trouble. It's a lot of trouble. But that's okay. When something smells that sweet and good, you don't mind picking up every ball individually. Then I found another ball after I closed this preservative, as they call it in German. And but that's okay. I knew I would find another ball. But I put that in the glass cabinet to give it good smell in there. And it does. This is amazing. This is total heaven. So now I have 3 gloves filled with differently scented scent balls. Air freshener balls. It's real nice. The color is perfect. This is the perfect watermelon color. And the scent, it smells just as sweet as watermelon, but it has the toilet cleaner edge, artificial toilet cleaner edge to it. The toilet, that's how the public toilets in probably, I don't know, at a bordel smell. Yeah. This is nice. It is 70 degrees today. I like it. It's nice. This is nice. Is this? Yes, it is. It is nice. Is this? I think what happened is when I filled the previous glove, I think some of these balls themselves were sweating a lot because of the warm temperature. And the container that they came in already had their liquid in it because they were sweating. So then I got some of this liquid on my hands. And then I touched the glove, and so I think the liquid, air freshener liquid, that has obviously fragrance oil in it. It must have somehow etched into the glove. And right here in between these two fingers. And probably dissolved some of the material, and then at some point it tore open, and they think these things came popping out. So nice. It's just one big misunderstanding that happens a lot between men and women is I go shopping, so just to use this example, yesterday for example, and when I go shopping, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I look at these dollar items and I get excited. And there were a bunch of young men in the store, and the energy in the store was sexually charged. That I could tell. And this one guy with his girlfriend or wife, they walk by a couple of times, and then he comes back alone and has to squeeze past me, even though there's a bunch of boxes in the aisle of items that haven't even been unboxed. And he has to squeeze through with me standing there with the shopping cart and all of that. I'm sorry about that, right? No, you're not sorry. You did it because you wanted to walk real close. That's why. So that's okay, but the difference between a woman and a man is the man sees the woman, flashy and all of that, in a tank top and shorts, right? And the man doesn't think very much. The man will kid himself and say, I need to walk past that lady now because I can't go through the other aisle, even though there's two cardboard boxes and a shopping cart, and she is looking at the candles. Right? I have to push past there because, and making excuses to himself. Even though this is inconvenient for him and for the woman. Okay. Made me a little bit irritated, but I didn't say anything. I knew why he was doing this, so I could take it as a compliment, or I can take it as inconvenience. But here's the difference, okay? The woman is thinking about the grocery items. The man is thinking something else. And if it was for the man, if he could get away with whatever he wants to do now with the woman, then it would be very crystal clear. Okay. There wouldn't even need to be much of an introduction or getting comfortable or something. No, it's all very convenient, and yeah, it's like he wants to have fun, right, in that moment, if he could, if there weren't other customers and the store clerks. And so if the woman was thinking like he does, which is extremely rare for a woman to be looking for this type of quick gratification, very, very rare. There was a woman, she had a brain injury, and that left her where she does the same thing that men do. Okay, so I felt sorry for her for that. I do not want to trade places, no. And she looks at her photo album, and she's married, she loves her husband, she doesn't want to cheat on him. But this brain condition carries her away, just like the men do, without having this aneurysm or stroke, right? Without having the brain injury. So I told her under the video, I said, girl, you you better be safe, better be on the safe side of things, right? So, and others told her that too. Stay safe. Be on the safe side, right? Even though you are driven now with this need and all of that to hook up with random guys, you got to be safe, okay? Safety before anything else. I can be in a mood, but if I am in the store and there's a bunch of guys walking past me and staring at me, I feel slightly uncomfortable about that because I don't know them. I don't know what their intentions are, even though I could sense it. There were a bunch of guys that walked past me. And it's a compliment for women, definitely, no doubt about it. To feel wanted is nice. So I'm really honest about this. But the difference between a man and a woman is the man is not afraid. The woman is afraid. Okay, so the woman evaluates a situation through the prefrontal cortex, while the man, I guess the man isn't even thinking through the prefrontal cortex. So the man is just still talks and thinks and all of that, but everything is going through this filter of lust. Okay, so lust creates some kind of filter in the brain or a funnel that dictates even random movements and quick split-second choices of walking this direction or that direction, sudden smirking or some statement that just arises without even thinking, right? That happens to a lot. One guy once comes up to me with a grin. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. I said, do I know you? And he said, no. I should have asked, do you know me from something? But I didn't. I was irritated about that guy. He also seemed like a little tipsy, so I found that irritating. What men don't understand about women is, even if the woman is in the mood, it takes a while for the woman to get back in the mood. It takes like about a week or so. For men, it takes a few hours. So, but the woman could be in the mood, and the man walks by, and is turned on, and then projects, obviously, his own quick interest onto the woman, and if she is not right away receptive to his remarks, or maybe even trolling. Some men are mean, they think that's sexy. So if she isn't up for this kind of trolling behavior, or if she doesn't hook up with the man right away, right, then they feel rejected. And then the shame and all of that, the dormant shame, trauma kicks in and all of that, and then they hate her, and then they'll say something mean. They'll say, well, you look like, you have a chin like Jay Leno anyway, I'm not interested. Then why even bother talking to me in the first place, right? So, well, no one dares to say that to me in person. These things happen only through drive-by commenting on the internet. Incognito. You look like Frankenstein. Yeah, because I'm smart. That's why. Frankenstein forehead. I'm glad now. Yeah, I used to feel embarrassed about it, but not anymore. I see the value in it. Now, the woman is afraid. Okay, so and so if an Asian man talks to me, I'm not as afraid because I trust that Asians are not rapey. Okay, so but that has happened, that an Asian man was a very sweet Asian man. Very, very sweet. And I have also met some that were not so sweet. They were kind of pushy. But, well, the pushy guy, there's no chance, right? No chance in the world. The sweet guy, yeah, that, but then he was very, very sweet and loving. Complimented my pottery. But I could sense a strong neediness. And strong neediness, that is never working. I'm so sorry about that. When a man has a strong neediness, I'm giving you the truth. It's awful, because I've been needy too in the past and been rejected because of it. So I know how bad it feels when we really like someone, really like someone, and they are just like our type physically, and we want to get to know them, and we come on several times with some kind of excuse. They can tell we are just being needy. So a few times I guess the guy was gay. And he ended up laughing about me with his gay lover. They were laughing about me. Well, I tried anyway. I have a thing for red-haired men with long hair. So that's just what it is. Juicy red-haired man with long hair, shiny long hair, good smelling, shampoo, conditioner, shiny, light red hair, and big butts. I like men with big butts. Big butts and big legs, like big elephant legs. That's so strange taste, but that is what I like. So I also like David Nino Rodriguez. I like him too. He's my type too. Chubby. I like Chubby. Particle. Contamination. Inside the glove. Huh. There's a lot of garden particles that come into the house on the shoes. We can't avoid that. A lot of tree needles that fall all the time. We have to clean, we have to sweep all the time. Every other day I have to sweep. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. I don't mind. I love that tree. It's a spruce in the neighbor's garden. A huge, huge spruce. And that spruce is growing in all directions, and many branches hang over onto our property, and the needles come down onto the parking lot, but that's perfectly fine. And one time the neighbor got himself a forklift or whatever, cherry picker forklift, and he cut half of the tree's limbs, the lower part, thinking that would somehow eliminate the danger that a branch could fall on us. I don't see how, because the upper branches are still there, and I saw that with dread, because that can put a tree into a shock. So don't do that. Don't cut the limbs off the tree. Leave the trees alone. You can do a haircut, the outer tips, but don't cut large branches off a tree. Don't do that. Ever. Don't cut any tree. Okay. Just don't cut any tree. Don't cut any trees. Don't cut the branches, and don't log a tree. This here is better than Zyprexa and Risperdal. For sure. People go like, yeah, oh, artificial fragrances, oh, stay away. But they're taking Risperdal and Zyprexa and Haldol and haloperidol, hallucinogenics, hello pharmacy drugs, right? No, no, you're better off with this here. Anytime, okay? Anytime better than pharmaceutical drugs for psychiatric conditions or any problem. And the best you can do, and this doesn't hurt you, and the best you can do is to also add a nice soak in a hot tub. possibly with ocean water or Epsom salt added to it. Okay. The ultimate is hot springs, of course. It's always the ultimate. More and more people are getting interested in hot springs, which is it's not very good for the hot springers, because then the hot springers have to share the hot springs with other people. I want my own hot springs. There's hot springs out there. I cannot say where, because that's my favorite hot springs of all. And no one goes there because, I guess because it's slightly under 100 degrees. Most people like it over 100 degrees. But that's perfect for me. I don't like it over 100 degrees, so when it's close to 100 degrees, that's perfectly ideal. Okay, so, and then no one there. That's the best part of it. And it's owned by an electric company bought it. They buy a lot of hot spring land. They use geothermal electric generation, which is terrible, because then they take this healing water away from the public. But since it's in the hot spring book, I go there anyway, because it's supposed to be BLM. How can they buy BLM land? That's corruption. That's taking it away from the public. BLM land, Bureau of Land Management, is public domain. It belongs to everyone. It belongs to the wild horses. It belongs to the cows, and it belongs to all people. And the hot springers, okay, it belongs to them. The real true hot springer, as Paul and I are, and the baby dog, we do not leave a trace behind. Wherever we go, we don't pollute, we don't trash anything, we don't even lay anything outside the van. The only thing I lay there by the pool is my towel and my Croc shoes, and I will pick up the towel and the Croc shoes and go back to the van. I don't leave anything behind. Okay, so I don't use toxic sun lotion. Okay, I use baby diaper rash cream as sun lotion, which I have on my face right now. That's why I always look so pale, because I use baby diaper rash as a sun lotion. This is a very versatile cream that we can use for insect bites, and can be used as a deodorant. Works really well. It can be used to even treat candida. It can be used to fix the baby dog's baby acne under his chin. It heals it all up. It heals up the candida in his ears. So it's an amazing stuff. Really amazing. Yes, it is nice. It is nice. It is a nice day today. Very nice. interesting in Germany how people like my parents were brainwashed against hot springs. Isn't that interesting? My whole life, growing up, we have hot spring communities in Germany. There's not one wild hot spring because in Germany everything is developed. There's no wild spaces left. But some of these hot spring towns, they have the name Bad. Bad means bath. Bad Pyrmont. Okay. So, Bad Pyrmont is a town that is built on a geyser hot spring that has been there for a very long time. It's been discovered a long time ago, probably in the Middle Ages, right? And then bathhouses would be built around it, an entire town would be made out of it, but Vermont, where they have baths, okay? So it never occurred to me to go there, even though it was right around the corner. Never occurred to me. Why? Because my parents, in a very subliminal way, made it clear that these hot spring towns are for old people. It's for convalescents. And it's low class. So I did not discover hot springs until I met Paul, like 50 years later, 40 years later. No, 37 years later, to be correct. Okay, and then I was all in awe. I was in such awe over this present from Mother Earth. I could not believe my eyes and my skin and my sensation in my hand when I touched the water. I was like, whoa, that's amazing. The first time I touched hot spring water. And all along I could have gone with at least a nanny. We could have gone there while my parents were on vacation, secretly. Gone to Bad Pyrmont and go swimming in that Thermalbad. So, oh man, why didn't they do this? I guess the nanny was also brainwashed against it. I don't know. That's the only explanation I have for it. You know, it's like it's been associated with people that are old, that had a knee replacement, and they're going there for convalescence. And then it has this connotation of like trailer park or something. That's a pity. We could have gone there all along and felt this amazing sulfur water, and this healing water. Could have healed my mental illness as a child. So, it makes me mad. You know. So, but at least I met Paul, and he introduced me to hiking, and I've always wanted to go hiking, never could find anyone to go hiking with me. I mean, like, that again, you know. I was at the university, about 10 years older than the other people, because I went back to school, and there was this one younger guy. He seemed to be interested. He was always looking. I go over to him and I asked him if he would like to go hiking with me around the area someday. And guess what he says? Hiking is for old people. No, thank you. I was so heartbroken over that. I sat in the window and cried before the class started. So he comes over and looks at me like he felt regret. It felt like, dang, what did I just do? Now she's crying. But I didn't look at him. I just sat there crying. I was a little pissed about that. So I didn't talk to him again after that. And he didn't talk to me. I think what it was that guy, he was so awkward. He was so shy and so... He feels so incredibly... embarrassed or ashamed or something, that he had to act weird and rude. That's how some men are, particularly in Germany. And it's like, I'm so done with German men. No, I'm so done with that. Never a German man again. Never. That was the last incident for me. Okay, I was really done. Then I had unfortunately, not true, then I had a crush on a professor. And the professor liked me too, and he wanted to help me with my mental illness, but he did everything wrong. A psychologist. He did everything wrong you can possibly do wrong. So that didn't, and also he was married, and I would not throw myself at him. So, but anyway, I wasn't after all this. I wasn't interested in German men. I said, I'm done. I'm going back to LA. So, what I didn't like in LA at the college was that we were treated like teenagers. That's what I didn't want anymore. I didn't want to go to school and be treated like a teenager. If I go to university or college, I want to sit there and I really want to be left alone. I don't want to be bothered by a tutor, by a professor, or by an instructor or whatever, or lecturer. I want them to do their lecturing and leave it up to the student, whether they want to listen or not, or whether they want to scribble something in their notebook or not. Okay. I didn't have a professor like Dr. Robert Sapolsky. Gosh, I wished I had Dr. Sapolsky as my professor. I wished I had always had Sapolskys as my professor. I had one in female form. Dr. Monika Pritzel. She's actually famous because she's awesome, that's why. So she once smuggled a human brain over the border. She talked about that. anecdote. Was all, she was all happy about that. Oh, that's cool. She liked me. She gave me the prerequisite for diploma for a written work. So the other ones wanted a presentation, and I was just too afraid. I couldn't do it. Could not do the presentation. You know, with all of these awkward German males in the audience, and I felt so uncomfortable. And they are so judgmental, these German men. So they are so serious and judgmental. It's amazing. But I tell you something, this is not because they're bad. It's because they're extremely insecure. Okay, that's why. That's why that kid said to me, hiking is for old people. They're extremely insecure. When people are very insecure and feeling awkward and embarrassed and all of that, they will say embarrassing things. That's like someone who is instructed to not talk to people with red gloves at an airport. I saw this guy, Slezor. I think it's Slezor. That guy is cool. So he is telling weird stories. I'm so interested in weird stories. There was this janitor working at an airport, and his instructor or supervisor says to him, and by the way, don't talk to people who have red gloves on or on them. They could be hanging off a purse. Don't talk to them. Red glove. So here's what happened. He didn't know, and the guy didn't know, and Slezor wasn't sure why this was happening. But I am doing my thinking, and I'm coming to my own conclusion why this happened. You know, you probably heard about focus groups, and you heard about like psychological tests that people do sometimes on random public people. Yeah, which is really sneaky to do, you know, to test random people in the public. Do psychological tests on them. Happens all the time. So they wanted to test what happens when they go somewhere, they single someone out, they see this new janitor there, and they go, okay, so we'll do this now. And the supervisors are obviously informed, to get paid for that. And then there are a couple of actors, bad actors, with red gloves, right, that casually walk past that janitor just to see what happens, how he will react. Okay, so he was instructed not to talk to people with red gloves. And if you tell that to someone randomly at an airport, and there is no psychological experiment happening, then the chances that this person will actually see someone with red gloves will be very minute, okay? He will probably never see someone with red gloves. Not in 1 year, not even in 2 years. Because very few people wear red gloves. They stand out, and like this here. So don't talk to people who have a rubber hand with scented balls hanging off the side of their pants. Don't talk to. I mean, that will be even more rare, right? That you will see someone at an airport with a surgical glove filled with scented balls. That will be so rare. It won't happen in 100 years. I'm telling you. So, but first he doesn't see any. Obviously, that is all planned, right? Because if he saw someone the next day, it will look too staged. So 3 weeks go by. He forgets about the red glove thing. And suddenly he sees someone with red gloves. And what does he do? He will go near that person at least to see what this person is all about. And that's the whole experiment. They want to see if you tell someone, don't do this, don't talk to them, avoid that person, people will be more attracted to go to that person. That's the whole experiment. Okay, so the people with the red gloves were paid actors. And one of them actually stared at that janitor like this for a long time. And then eventually one of his bosses pulls out a pair of red gloves and lays it on the table. That's when he knew this was set up to freak him out. He didn't come to the conclusion that he was being tested. He was a test person. He was tested on psychological experiments, right? I know all about this because I have been through 2 rounds of test person prerequisite time. Okay, so that's all part of the prerequisites that we get in Germany before we enter into the 4-diploma work. So when the tests, the actual multiple choice tests begin. So that's the 4-diploma test, the whatever, equivalent to the bachelor exams or whatever, So you can't enter into the test phase unless you have all of your prerequisites, you have all of your prerequisite certificates, like I got from Monika Pritzel for the translation of the olfactory system, my favorite nervous system part, the nose. And you have to have the other ones required, a presentation which I copped out of. And so I wasn't allowed into the 4-diploma because I literally ran away from the presentation that was scheduled. I've done something like this also in school as a teenager, right before we were doing a concert, Mozart, and I was playing the violin. I laid the violin on my chair, I walked behind the stage, and I didn't come back until after the concert performance. And then I even got my best friend to run away with me too. She wasn't even afraid. I freaked her out too, just like that. That's what teenage girls do with each other. One gets scared, then the other one starts screaming. This happened at the center in LA, at Arjanov's. I wasn't even a teenager anymore. I was 27. But the girl I was hanging out with was 16. And I see we were doing buddy session with each other in the closed room. And suddenly a child of the earth digs his way out from underneath. And I've seen them before because I was digging into their little backyard. I wanted to grow some plants there with my friend Elsa. but then we kind of didn't do it because we're so scatterbrained and all of that. But then I was there with Kirsten in the individual primal room, and all of a sudden, the child of the earth, the Hollywood E.T. digs his way through the ground and comes up in between the bricks there. You know how the child of the earth looks like? Just like an E.T. Okay. They are the size of this finger here. They have a huge head and they're almost transparent, like this here. You can actually see into them like this. And they have thick legs, but they're insects, okay? They're also called potato bugs. I guess they eat the potatoes underground. They live underground. They're huge, with huge head with some tentacles, and they're like transparent, and they have big legs, and they walk slow. You can pick them up and don't hurt them, okay? They're part of the ecosystem. But they look scary for someone from Germany, okay? Because we don't have those there. I'm like, what is this? Is this a Hollywood studio? Is this some kind of Hollywood studio E.T. movie decoration or robot? Right? And I was just, I was like a teenager. I'm a late developer. So I say, Kirsten, there is this Hollywood monster there. And we both look at the Hollywood monster coming towards us. And just because, teenage girls, they just, for the fun of it, they start screaming, right? It was so immature. So we both start screaming because it's so much fun. And we run out the door, and then we run through the whole center screaming. And Arjanov's like, he was just giving a presentation. And he was like, oh, what is Nicola doing again? I was already the crazy one there. I was the craziest batshit crazy of all. And then we said, yes, there's a Hollywood movie monster in the room. Oh man, when I think about these moments of immaturity, I cringe. Now at age 61, I'm like, I finally matured. I finally grew up. Okay? I'm no longer immature. I'm no longer a child. Okay? So I'm a mother of all beings. If I see that monster, Hollywood monster now, I am delighted. And I will pick him up, put him on my hand. At that time, I didn't know much about them. I didn't know whether they would bite or what would happen. So I felt uneasy. But today I know they're totally harmless. You can pick them up, they walk over your hand, put them back into the soil. That's where they need to be. And I would pet them lightly on the back. They are very squishy, like this here. Very cute. Cute beings. The cutest insects. Okay, so really nice. Lovely. And I love them. Okay. So it's really a compliment that they were living there at the center. And then we kids, we scream, and then we saw large cockroaches there that were like this long. And then because of all of that fuss we made, which I totally regret, then the did a fumigation, and I had no idea what fumigation is about. There's never such thing in Germany. That would be against the law. That's an environmental breach. Okay, so I did a fumigation with a tent and everything, and all the poor beings in there died. That's horrible. It's just, I look back on, I don't know whether Kirsten and I caused this or not, but maybe other people complained that they saw large insects in there. I don't know. But I really regret my teenage behavior. Man, I regret it. I hate it. I hate it. I am absolutely against fumigation. Needs to be outlawed. All this environmental toxicity and the destruction that people are doing is just, it's just infinitely sad. That's what it is. It's just infinitely sad. Makes me infinitely sad. We can deal with things better. Don't leave food rests anywhere. One way of dealing with this, at the center, we could have utilized that backyard and grown vegetables. Okay, the soil was fertile, was good. Would have grown vegetables, let the child of the earth, the Hollywood movie star bug, let them eat some of that they have the right to do that. Okay, so, and if there are cockroaches in the walls, then leave them there. That's where they want to be. It's moist. So leave them there. Don't plaster that over. Okay, the stuff needs to breathe. So make the best out of it. Make it animal friendly. Okay. But don't scream and run away when you see a child of the earth or a cockroach. There's no need to scream and run away. No need. Okay. They don't hurt you, they don't do anything to you, they don't eat you, or they don't eat your fingernails or whatever. They just, when they're minding their own business, they eat roots and they eat whatever. The cockroaches eat garbage. Okay, so don't leave garbage out there. So that's not a problem. Okay, people need to understand this. So they finally bought another place in Santa Monica and moved there. I never saw that place. Only on YouTube I saw Franz Janov giving presentations at the new place. So. Yeah, I miss Art Janov. He's an amazing man, was an amazing man. He died after an Anneliese, just a year later or so. They were both the same age. They were both in their early 90s. They lived a long life, and they have contributed to making the world a better place. Both of them. Both of them are amazing. And that's the truth. And I feel very honored that I got the chance to meet them in person and be friends with them, be close friends with Anneliese. And be able to give Art Janov a hug. Okay. And listen to his amazing classes that he was giving. And he said to us in the beginning, when he was still giving classes, we were just about 70 people because it was only for trainees. And he said to us, every one of you, no matter how batshit crazy Nicola is or anyone, now he didn't say that. He said, every one of you is already better as a therapist than any therapist out there. And he was right. He was right. His friend came to the center about a year or two later. His friend made a musical movie at the center. And there was an Asian girl, an actor lady. And he was kind of a little bit harsh with her. I saw all of that. We were standing behind the scenes watching them produce this movie at the center. And they were playing therapy patients. They were just playing them. But the guy was a little harsh with that Asian girl, and she ended up in the restroom and then washing her hands in the restroom. I was just going to the restroom, or I came out of the restroom, and I just washed my hands, and then I saw her standing there by the sink, washing her hands and crying. And that was not because of the role she was playing. She was crying because of that guy being harsh with her. I saw that. And I felt sorry for her. I put my hand on her shoulder and I said, I'm so sorry that he was rough with you. You don't deserve that. And that's all I said, and I just kept my hand on her shoulder like this here. And I looked at her with compassion. And I said, you can cry all you want. This is the right place. Cry it all out. And she did, right there with me in that restroom. And I'll never forget that. So yeah, every one of us was already better therapists than the people outside the center. That's the truth. We didn't need the counseling license for that, okay? To put our hand on someone's shoulder and say, I'm here. Go ahead and feel it all and cry it all out. Okay, it's no rush. This is your moment to do it. Take all the time you need. Okay. And that's what real therapy is. To give people space and love. Unconditional love. See, at the center, all of these years, I didn't see any Asian girl there as actually being a client. There was one Asian guy, Asian American, forgot his name now, but yeah, only one Asian was there. A man. I guess Asians, I think they eat stuff into themselves. They push things under the rug. They suppress emotions. That's what they do, most of them. That's not good for you. It's not healthy. You do it out of your society, the society that you grew up in. In Japan, this is real bad. People are shamed for feeling things. Open-minded people, which there are some in Japan too, right? people that are open and friendly, they get shamed, but they will not let them be shamed into silence. So real open-minded people. They come in all races, and they are advanced souls, and they don't let society silence them or become conformed to a pride-bearing or honoring system or whatever, they have to fulfill the family honor, or they can never be crying in public, or they need to never make a scene, or so they're the advanced souls. They don't go by that. They know it's bullshit. Neurotic society rules are bullshit. So question it and be good to yourself and cry things out. So the video is long, and what I'm saying is the truth. 11144. It's the truth. So these are messages from the infinite cosmos for you. Take care.